Our top focus at 7, Prime Minister Modi paid tribute to over 10,000 Indian soldiers who lost their lives during World War I at a memorial in Lille in France on day 2 of his 9-day three-nation tour. Earlier today, Modi visited the Airbus facility in Toulouse. He also visited French Space Centre CNES or the National Centre for Space Studies, where the two sides discussed space research cooperation. Toulouse is home to France's civil and military aviation industry. Modi was accompanied by French Foreign Minister Laurent Fabius on his tour to the Airbus facility. Later in Paris, Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to meet former French President Nicolas Sarkozy. Modi is scheduled to leave for Germany tomorrow. Let's get a word from our Deputy Editor Smita Sharma, who's with us on the phone line. Smita, a power-packed trip for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, paying a visit to that World War I memorial, where he paid homage to almost 10,000 Indian soldiers who had laid down their lives during World War I.
Absolutely, Simi. In fact, the first Indian Prime Minister really to visit war memorial site that had been unveiled, in fact, in October of 1927. Remember, this is a commemoration of all those Indian soldiers, in fact, who fought alongside the French forces and lost their lives between 1914 to 1918. They fought alongside France and Belgium as well, and almost 5,000 of them, in fact, they don't have known graves really. So Prime Minister Narendra Modi there visiting this place to the south of France and almost a kilometer and a half from Toulouse, where he visited earlier that aviation giant Airbus, and in fact toured the assembly line facility. So from here, of course, he heads back to Paris in the next half an hour or so, and then later, as you mentioned, that he has that meeting with the former president Nicolas Sarkozy. So clearly for Narendra Modi, this is just the first stopover. Remember, this is day 2 in France. Tomorrow, in fact, he will be heading out to Germany, where he will inaugurate that Hanover Messe, or the world's largest trade fair, along with the German Chancellor Angela Merkel. But for now, of course, these images, as we can see, as Narendra Modi, in fact, and not in his traditional bandagala kurta, you can remember. He's rather, of course, in a coat pant and trousers, and he is taking the tour. And he could also, in fact, be seen, interestingly, getting those selfies clicked along with some of the Airbus staff, in fact, at Toulouse earlier, and he even tweeted saying that we were competing to try and click the best selfie possible.
All right, and Smita, some strong reactions coming in to some of those issues that Prime Minister Modi sought to address with the French president. The Shiv Sena is upset that Prime Minister Modi raised the Jaitapur plant issue. The other big controversy that's happening is Subramaniam Swamy has criticized the Rafale deal, saying that he will be forced to take legal recourse if the government goes ahead with this deal.
Well, definitely when Mr. Narendra Modi comes back after every foreign policy, or after every, in fact, overseas tour, while all may look good on the surface, there are issues that you need to address domestically. And interestingly, all these voices of opposition actually coming in from, not from the opposition this time around, but from an alliance of the BJP itself, and from somebody who is within the BJP itself. Now, as far as Jaitapur is concerned, remember, it's the French company Areva, in fact, that is supposed to build around 6 nuclear reactors really in Jaitapur. But we have seen protests earlier also when such intentions had been announced during the last visits, in fact, of President Nicolas Sarkozy to India when Manmohan Singh was the then Prime Minister. So he will have to, in fact, Mr. Modi will have to perhaps come back and address some of these criticisms to try and ensure that, the kind of positioning that he has done, because this entire tour, his pitch is going to be the Make in India pitch. And once he comes back, of course, it's the second half of the budget session that comes into action as well. So perhaps we will see some more questioning being done at that point in time.